There is no plan B because there is no planet B, rightly said by former Secretary General of the United Nations, Ban Ki-moon. Good evening, everyone. This is Satyajit.
And hello everyone, this is Antika and we are your hosts.
And those for today's webinar.
Well, Satyajit, I was wondering, do you know why are so many people gathered here with us today?
Yes, Antika. We all have gathered here to witness the most awaiting series of webinar on sustainable development goals. I am a global citizen powered by the Bharat Scouts and Guides, India.
Wow, I am extremely excited. और हम आज सभी का स्वागत करते हैं.
Welcome everyone. Now, may I request all the dignitaries, participants, and all other members of the organization to kindly stand up for the prayer.
भक्ति का हमें परमात्मा देना, दया करना हमारी आत्मा में शुद्धता देना, हमारे ध्यान में आओ प्रभु, आंखों में बस जाओ, अंधेरे दिल में आकर के परम ज्योति जगा देना, बहा दो प्रेम की गंगा, दिलों में प्रेम का सागर, हमें आपस में मिलजुल कर प्रभु रहना सिखा देना, हमारा कर्म हो सेवा, हमारा धर्म हो सेवा, सदा ईमान हो सेवा, वो सेवक चर बना देना, वतन के वास्ते जीना, वतन के वास्ते मरना, वतन पर जान फिदा करना, प्रभु हमको सिखा देना, दया कर दान भक्ति का हमें परमात्मा देना, दया करना हमारी आत्मा में शुद्धता देना.
Thank you everyone. Please be seated. Well, so in honor of all the incredible global citizens who have blazed a trail forward, both in past and present, I heartily welcome all the honorable guests, respected BSG officials, and all my dear beloved young people to this webinar series on SDGs. Well, let's not wait anymore and begin our today's webinar. Now, I extend my heartfelt welcome to a very honorable person, respected Sri Chandrajit Saikia Sir, Principal Chief Personnel Officer, NF Railway State, and he is also the State Chief Commissioner of Bharat Scouts and Guides North Frontier Railway State, and he is also the National Advisor Railway Affairs of BSG India. I welcome you, sir, to please deliver the welcome address. A hearty welcome to you, sir.
Thank you. Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Ranuj Pegu, who is the Minister of Education, Government of Assam, Sri K.K. Khandelwal, Chief National Commissioner, Bharat Scouts and Guides, Sri M.A. Khalid, Additional Chief National Commissioner, Bharat Scouts and Guides, Sri P.G.R. Shindia, President in Council of Bharat Scouts and Guides, other guests and dignitaries, including Sri Afsar Hazarika, State Chief Commissioner, Assam, Sri Rajkumar Kaushik, Director, Bharat Scouts and Guides, and his entire team, not only in the national headquarters, but all across the country in different regions, and all others present here today, this evening. Well, it is a big privilege for me, an honor for me to welcome all of you to this inaugural ceremony of a series of webinars over the next 7 days, which has been named as I am a global citizen. Basically, during these 7 days, the Bharat Scouts and Guides is going to organize webinars on the Sustainable Development Goals. As you all know, 17 SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, were identified by the United Nations in 2015 as the goal to reach by 2030. Of course, our Bharat Scouts and Guides people have already started their work on many of these SDGs, but definitely the speakers which we have invited for this series of webinars over the next 7 days, that is from today up to 13th, they are from the World Organization of Scouts, and then that is WASM, and similarly from other organizations also works, and government departments and NGOs as well. So with this, now once again I welcome all of you to this opening ceremony, the inaugural ceremony, and I hope and I am sure that during these 7 days our Scouts and Guides will come to know a lot of things from our guest speakers, resource persons, and of course we look forward to guidance from our chief guests and others also during the inaugural ceremony. Thank you all, and once again welcome all.
Thank you very much, sir, for such a warm welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, we already have our chief guest for today's evening with us, Honorable Education Minister and Minister of Welfare of Plain Tribe and Backward Classes of Government of Assam, Dr. Ranoj Pegu. I now request everyone to kindly stand up for the general salute. Salute. Jaise the. Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. Moving on, I now take the privilege of inviting Shri M.A. Khalid Sir, retired KAS officer of Government of Karnataka, Additional Chief National Commissioner of Bharat Scouts and Guides India and State Commissioner Scouts of BSG Karnataka for the opening remarks of the webinar. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Satyajit. The most honorable Education Minister of Government of Assam, Dr. Ranoj Pegu, respected PGR India, a former minister for over 2 decades in the government of Karnataka, who is also the Secretary General of the President Council, Mr. Chandrajit Saikia, a Principal Chief Personal Officer of North Frontier Railway, who just delivered his welcome address, Mr. A.K. Afsar Hazarika, who is also the State Commissioner Scouts and a former State Chief Commissioner Assam and a farmer from the Civil Service of Assam, Mr. Kaushik, Director with his team of professionals, Mr. Madhusudan, Deputy International Commissioner, other guests, attendees to this webinar who are almost nearing 500, which is a good sign that all of you are taking interest. Most of you who are attending this webinar have the knowledge that in the year 2000, the UN adopted 8 objectives to meet the needs of the poorest. The Sustainable Development Goals are a series of measures to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure the global well-being of human beings. The principles and values of Sustainable Development Goals are already enshrined and are in the heart and core of what we do in this country. That's why we decided to spread the word about what these goals are and why they matter, so that all action taken locally can be logged and shared, allowing us to see the impact we are having. From the very beginning, the Scout Guides movement has impacted the community due to our community service and community development actions. And the Bharat Scouts and Guides is not far behind. We in Bharat Scouts and Guides spurred our activities during the pandemic and organized Better World Framework, where social development goals were also covered. We have, fortunately, a membership of 5.7 million, and we have to prove our strength in not just quantity, but also quality. Our desire, the world over, to mobilize over 50 million scouts, which is perhaps unprecedented. This would leave the leverage the Scout Youth Program and the movement initiatives under the Better World Framework and the Messenger of Peace initiative to raise awareness and take action towards the 17 SDGs. We all know what these 17 SDGs are, but here I would like to enlighten that in India so far, we have 70,807 registered users, which are far less. When we have a strength of 5.8 million, even if 25% are there, I think this would be much more. And the service projects we have rendered so far is about 25,473, which we have to spur up to see that what targets we are going to make up in this next 6-7 days, we achieve those goals, because we still have 9 years to go. And however, the number of service hours we have made is quite impressive. It's almost about 2.5 crores. And if we keep up this, I think to reach the goal, what the our Scouts and Guides, both in Bharat Scouts as well as WOSM, have targeted. As we all know, in 2018, our World Chief Ambassador, Bear Grylls, along with the United Nations, launched these special development goals. Through this project, we are aiming to deliver 2 million local projects and linked to SDGs, and to provide an additional 3 billion hours of service to them by 2030. I am told that we have already reached 1 billion hours, and to reach another next 2-3 billion is not much. I feel it's not a tall order for a mammoth organization like ours, which, as I said, is 50 million strong. Even as I said, 25% are effective, we can deliver very easily 2 million local projects. And if the same 25% of the strength works for 120 hours each in the next 9 years, that is about 12 to 13 hours per annum, we reach our goals. In Bharat Scouts and Guides also, as I keep on saying that we have 5.8 million strength, only if 2.5 million work, we can deliver 2.5 lakh projects with 500 million service hours, as we have already achieved substantial. We have to increase the number of registered units at least 4-fold in the next 8-9 years, so that what aim we have as Bharat Scouts and Guides can be achieved very effectively. The objective of this seminar, which runs from today until 13th, will give you a thorough picture and will orient you all to adopt this sustainable development goal as per the needs of the community, and give experience to our members in BSG who have been working on it. So then in the next 6-7 days, where we are inviting great personalities, be it from WOSM, be it from WACS, from the government and other NGOs, they'll share their experience, and perhaps they'll also tell us how we can target our audience, how we can achieve these goals. And I'm sure the next 6 days will be very fruitful. very productive and give us motivation to achieve our goal. Thank you very much.
There are no shortcuts to any place worth going where you made a difference. Thank you so much, Khalid sir, for addressing the gathering today and highlighting the purpose of sustainable development goals. Well, we all know the Scouts and Guides of Assam and Northeast region has been doing great in terms of community service and community development, especially in times of COVID-19. Moving on, let us hear from a leader who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. It is my immense pleasure to welcome the epitome of inspiration, Sri A.K. Apsar Hazarika sir, retired ACS officer, former Deputy Commissioner, Kanpur District, Assam, and State Chief Commissioner of Assam Bharat Scouts and Guides. I welcome you, sir, for the key highlights of the scouting and guiding activity in Assam and Northeast region. A hearty welcome to you, sir.
Respected Chief Guest, Dr. Pegu, Honorable Education Minister of Assam, Dr. K.K. Khandelwal, Chief National Commissioner, Bharat Scouts and Guides, Mr. M.A. Khalid, Additional Chief National Commissioner, BAG, Mr. P.J.R. Sindhia, and my counterpart in NF Railway, Mr. Chandrajit Saikaji, all our BAG family members, ladies and gentlemen, including all participants in today's seminar. Good evening to you all. It is indeed a privilege to introduce a great institution like Bharat Scouts and Guides to our chief guest today. The theme of today's webinar, I am a global citizen, truly reflects the character of Scouts and Guides throughout the world, which actually strives to promote the feeling of international brotherhood amongst the youth. As you all know, that the visionary in our founder, Lord Baden-Powell, could possibly foresee the shape of things to come more than a century back. Even as early as 1907, he started this initiative with a few local youths in training self-defense and character building and things like that. And that finally, in course of time, became probably the biggest global youth organization. We now cover more than almost 200 countries, cutting across all barriers of caste and creed, color, language, religion, etc. Truly creating one world for the youth. This great organization had its beginning in the then undivided Assam, back in the year 1916, with its headquarters in the then undivided Assam in Shillong. And it continued till 1973, when after separation of the creation of state of Meghalaya, the Assam capital was shifted to Dispur. The Bharat Scouts and Guides state headquarters of Assam was shifted to Guwahati, and it is still functioning from its location in Panbazar. Thereafter, the old Assam has been divided into several states now, 7 states, including Sikkim, it is 8 states. And every state in any state has an individual and functioning Bharat Scouts and Guides, where vigorous training is imparted to the youths aged between 6 and 23 years in different prescribed activities earmarked by the national headquarters. And under the direct supervision of its regional office based in Ajra, near Guwahati Airport. The entire Northeastern region has a total enrollment of about 85,000. It is actually not a very good number to speak of, but I think, with a population of 22 million youths in this age group in the whole of Northeast. And Assam also has a total school-going population of 73.8 million, but our enrollments have been quite low. It's only about 16,600. But I think there is tremendous scope to take it forward. Of course, we have quite a lot of infrastructural problems and resource crunch. But I think we can really hope since there is a lot of potential because of this huge number of population, school-going youth which are not covered as yet. And I think that is it is therefore probably the national headquarters has selected Assam as the focus state for development of. Now we are actually trying our best, but for this pandemic, for the 1.5 years, we have not been able to do much in the membership drive and all that. But then we have been working. Our members have been working very hard right from the beginning of pandemic last year, around April, when including distribution of food and everything. Actually, still they are working in different parts of the state. And now, as you know, this the beginning of June, and our regular flood season is coming. So our members are kept busy throughout the year. So I think this potential that we see will be realized, and we are really grateful that Honorable Minister is with us today, and we would fervently request him to give us some time so that some of us can go and meet him personally once this pandemic problem is over, and then we'll be able to discuss face-to-face the problems that are there. We are really grateful that state government have given this land that from where we are operating from now, the Panbazar land, as well as we have got almost 25 acres of land given by state government about 30 kilometers from here, where we have the state training center. Then there is another plot of, actually in terms of land resource, we have got quite a lot, but then we need to create resources. As you know, there is a non-profit or a non-profit organization. It will take some time and a lot of blessings and support from the Honorable Minister Education to take it forward. As you know that youths are, as they say, that India has this this demographic dividend. This demographic dividend can be taken advantage of only when we're able to impart the required skills of our youths. Because I think there is a huge potential because Northeast region as it is, Northeast in region as it is, and of course in Assam, the language is English is the lingua franca. So there are so many opportunities that are there in soft skills. So I think BHG can do a hell of a lot, and we are already Scout Guides Fellowship have already started skill training in our headquarters itself recently. But again, it has been suffering because it has not been able to operate for the last quite a few months. So I would not like to take so much of time of Honorable Chief Guest, and since this program is very limited, so I think with these few words, I must say that we are ready with the others and to work hand in hand with the programs that are initiated by national headquarters. And as you know, that we are, our aim, our motto is to be prepared. That is our founder had his initials BP, Baden Powell, was made into the be prepared. And whatever the challenge is, we are always prepared to serve in I thank you all to give us this opportunity to share the views, and we look forward to meeting you all physically beyond on the other side of COVID-19. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for highlighting the key activities. I am sure that BSG Assam and Northeast region will reach greater heights under your able leadership. Thank you very much, sir. Once again, moving on, let's welcome our chief guest of the evening, Honorable Minister of Education and Minister of Welfare of the Plain Tribe and Backward Classes of Government of Assam, Dr. Ranoj Pegu. Dr. Ranoj Pegu is a resident of Choldua, Baligao in Dhemaji district of Assam. He has obtained an MBBS degree from Guwahati Medical College in the year 1987. Dr. Ranoj Pegu is the former Chief Executive Member of the Missing Autonomous Council. He was also the former leader of the Regional Party of Assam, Gana Shakti, in 2019. He is current member of Legislative Assembly of Assam from Dhemaji and current Minister of Education, Welfare of Plain Tribe and Backward Classes. We welcome you, sir, and I request you to inaugurate the webinar, I Am a Global Citizen, a series of webinar on SDG by lighting the lamp virtually.
Thank you very much. Very good evening, everyone. Honorable Mr. PGR Sindhia ji, former Minister of Karnataka, then Honorable Dr. KK Khandelwal, the Chief National Commissioner of the BSG, respected Sri RK Kaushik, Director BSG, then Madhusudan, Deputy International Commissioner, respected AK Afsar Hazarika, State Chief Commissioner, respected Sri M.A. Khalid, Additional Chief National Commissioner, and Sri Sandrajit Saikia, Principal Chief Personnel Officer of NF Railway. And at the very outset, I would like to thank you all and thank the organizer for giving me this opportunity and inviting me as the chief guest to inaugurate this series of webinar with the theme, I Am a Global Citizen. First of all, this is a very proud moment for me, and I am proud to share with you all that I was a scout during my school days. My father was a government servant, and he used to get transferred from one place to another. And when I was a student of class 5 at Naharkatia, I was a scout. But thereafter, I got shifted to another school where the facility scout was not available, and that had really saddened me. And today I am very proud to share, to be present here in this August occasion. And the theme, I Am a Global Citizen, this reminds me a famous song by Dr. Bhupen Hazarika. And Bhupen Hazarika, we all know, he was a famous singer from Assam, and he was truly a global citizen. He never sung a song for his state Assam, but there was a universal appeal always in his songs. And he, in one of his famous lyrics, he said, "Tumi Bishwar Harirat Pangu Anga Hole Bishwai Janu Bhal Pabo," which meant if you are a defective part in the body of the world, will the world be beautiful? If a part of the globe, a country or region is lags behind or bogged in poverty, undergrowth, how can the world be beautiful? The world need to be sustainable and beautiful as a whole, and to achieve that, we need the sustainable development goal that we are all talking about, the 17 goals. Global actions and global citizens we require. This 17 goals of sustainable development is a concern not only for the governments, but all citizens. It is a time that we rise above our narrow parochial thoughts, having concern only for my community, my area, or my country, or my region. We all know, I would like to remind another famous song by another global citizen, famous singer, Paul Robson, who said, if you tip one end, you're gonna rock the other end. We can't grow by pushing someone back. We are in the same boat, brother. We are citizens of one and only one earth. That is the message we must carry always. Scout and Guide movement is a global movement that all of we share. And young scouts and guides are transforming societies by taking actions for peace and sustainability. They are building nation, but at the same time, building strong bonds across the world to make Mother Earth a livable, peaceful, and sustainable one. Without such united actions, as global citizens, the world is under threat. Inequalities, underdevelopment will push us back to the time of wars and crime. So as the responsibility of implementing the sustainable development goals, it not only rests on government, it rests on every citizen, every institution, every organization. I'm so happy that the organization like Bharat Scouts and Guides are coming forward to raise awareness, to deliberate on the issues of these 17 goals, and holding this series of webinars lasting for a week. And thank you very much for Bharat Scout and Guides for organizing such a series of webinars amidst such a pandemic. So I hope more and more institutions, more and more individuals will come forward to talk about SDG, to talk about the implementation of SDG everywhere, and making everyone concerned, making everyone aware about these goals are very important. And I hope this series of webinars lasting for a week, it will make many people concerned, aware, and action-oriented on SDG goal. And thank you very much for inviting me with these few words. I would like to inaugurate this series of seminars with the theme, I am a global citizen. I'd just like to remind you about another song sung by unitedly by most of the artists of the world, that is, we are the children, we are the world, and we all must act together. This is the right time. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak a few words. And with these words, I inaugurate this series of seminars. Thank you very much.
Sir, this is Khalid. Thank you very much, sir. I think once they say that once a scout is always a scout. And since you have been a scout, we are really lucky indeed. And in addition, you are the education minister. As education minister, sir, you have complete control over all education institutions. I think Mr. Hazarika will approach you. You have to simply issue the orders like what we do in Karnataka. We'll be sending you the order. Here, the scouting has taken a very firm foundation because there is a complete backing from the government. I'm sure with you as education minister and a former scout, the scouting in Assam will grow many folds. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I'm obliged to do that. I will.
Thank you so much, respected Education Minister, sir. Now I request you to light the lamp and declare the webinar open.
I declare the webinar open.
Appreciation can make a day, even change a life. Thank you so much, Honorable Education Minister, for bringing truck full of happiness in our webinar. It was so great to hear your golden words. Now, I take this humble opportunity to welcome a very spirited trainer and a leader with an outstanding fountain of knowledge and inspiration to all the youth. A hearty welcome to TGS India, sir, Secretary General of Bharat Scouts and Guides India and State Chief Commissioner of Bharat Scouts and Guides Karnataka to kindly address the gathering. A hearty welcome to you, sir.
Honorable Education, Welfare, Backward Class Minister of Assam, Dr. and our respected Additional Chief National Commissioner, Mr. Khalid Bhai, the respected State Chief Commissioner of Assam, Hazarika ji, Mr. Saikya ji, and my friend Mr. Madhusudan, our International Deputy Commissioner, Rajkumar Kaushikji, and Anilendra Sharmaji, and all the participants of this webinar. I wish all the best to this webinar. I would like to congratulate Dr. Pegu for his good words. And as somebody said, that once a scout is always a scout. The spirit of scouting is in him. He recollected all his student days. I am sure, Dr. Sahib, if you mind, it is not alone in Assam. The whole of the northeastern region of our country, an organization like Scouts and Guides will grow leaps and bounds. We are in a very difficult patch of time in the history now. I can boldly say that the Scouts and Guides, Rovers and Rangers, and our unit leaders, the teachers and others, they are working day in and day out to help to eradicate the COVID, to stop the COVID growth. We are doing our best. In many states, many lakhs of marks have been made by the teachers and Nantra Matarji. They have made and they have supplied food pockets to the many migrant workers of the country in their respective states. Now they are also giving food kits to the needy people in the entire country. This is something which is in the blood of the scouting and guiding. That is why we all want the blessings of the Assam government, the support of the Assam government, and the participation of the Assam government's educational department officers. Incidentally, Dr. Saab, you have the welfare department with you, you have the backward class department with you, you have the education department with you, and it's a newly formed government. I am sure with all enthusiasm, you will do your best to help us to grow. You see, it is in the interest of the government, it is in the interest of the country, the Scouts and Guides has to grow. With these few words, I thank you very much. In fact, for a long time, I have not been able to visit Assam. I propose to visit Assam. At that time, I will definitely seek an appointment with your kind self and meet you. And we shall all together work to overcome this coronavirus and inspire the youngsters to do some service. Thank you very much, sir. I especially thank Mr. Anilendra Sharma, who has been responsible for my participation, and also our director, Mr. Rajkumar Kaushikji, for giving me an opportunity to speak on this beautiful occasion. Mr. Madhusudan Avala is there. He is well versed with the 17 SDG goals before us. Our country is committed for all these goals, and we shall overcome them in the days to come. Every state, we shall make a strategy with your support, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for blessing the occasion and for your kind words. Thank you for being with us today. I now request Shri Rajkumar Kaushik, sir, Director of the Bharat Scouts and Guides, National Headquarters, to offer thanks and gratitude to the Honorable Chief Guest and other distinguished members.
Thank you very much, Abrar. Respected Dr. Pegu, Education Minister, and all my officials in the webinar, all the trainers and dear youth. Dr. Saab, really it is a good sign to all of us that as our Secretary General has told, once a scout, always a scout. So we treat that you as a scout only now, and we hope that under your leadership, now the scouting not only in Assam, even in the whole Northeast, it will develop like anything. And as requested by Khalid ji, Sir, for your information, already one circular was issued by the in I think 2008 or 9 that all the schools must have a scout guide Kabulbul units, and they should contribute some fund also for the school. So I think if you will restate that circular and you will ask the Directorate of Education, definitely Assam is having a lot of caliber. My 20% of life has spent in Assam only, sir, in the northeast region for scouting guiding. And I know very well there is just so much caliber in Assam, and the youth are so much devoted and dedicated toward their development in the state. I hope that under your leadership, definitely in your dynamic leadership, if I will say, because I know you very well. When I was there, I have not met you before, but I heard about you. And we are really proud to have you as education minister in Assam. And I hope that our Assam state will also definitely their delegation will meet you. That what we need in Assam state for the development of Northeast. Because if we will develop Assam, the whole Northeast will develop automatically. Because Assam is a central point for the Northeast. So thank you very much for coming to our webinar. And as all the officials has already told, sir, that the Scout and Guide are doing a lot of work. And now the whole world is appreciating the Bharat Scout and Guide for the last 1.5 years, what work has been done by our youth. Thank you very much, sir. And I congratulate the organizer and also my assistant director, Anil Sharma, for well management of this webinar. And the number of webinars shows that 535 youth are now, means there is no vacancy in this webinar. So I think Dr. Pegu, the credit goes to you also, because of you only this now full number is there in our webinar. So congratulations to you also, that the youth also need your support for this novel coach. Thank you very much once again to all.
Like the rainwater bringing life and prosperity to the land, your words bring enthusiasm and strengthen our hearts. Thank you so much, respected Director Sir, for expressing thanks and gratitude on behalf of the entire Bharat Scouts and Guides fraternity. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, tighten your seatbelts now. The wait is over. It's time for the most awaited series of webinar on SDG, I am a global citizen. Are you? If you are a global citizen, do comment in the chat box and let me know. Moving on, it is my biggest privilege to invite on screen the youth inspiration, Sri Madhusudan Avala Sir, Deputy International Commissioner Scouts of Bharat Scouts and Guides India, and WISDOM consultant for the first input session on the webinar, I am a global citizen. A hearty welcome to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Antika. Thank you for having me on the screen today, and respected dignitaries on the screen, and all the participants in this webinar. It's my privilege to be here and presenting in front of you the input session on sustainable development goals. Friends, you all would be knowing that if you have to be happy, if you have to be successful, and if you have to be peaceful, you need to have sustained efforts. It does not happen in one effort, or it does not happen in one day. As the saying is there, Rome was not built in a day. Similarly, when we talk about sustainable development goals, it boils down towards sustainable education. As Scouts, we have been into sustainable education for the last 100 plus years. And let me present in front of you what is Scouts for SDG. I think I'll be able to share my screen. Yes. So when you look at this Scouts for SDG, this logo, you could see the center of the Scouts is with the wheel, and it is very, very colorful. When we say it is colorful, that brings the youth into it. And we all know you young people are youthful, colorful, resourceful, knowledgeful. But what is needed is we need to channelize all these energies towards development, and that is towards the sustainable development. Friends, on your screen you can see one beautiful image. Can you guess what is this? If you know the answer, kindly put it in the chat. Okay. Anybody can guess in which year this picture was captured? This picture was recognized by the entire world, and it won the laurels, and it was called as the Blue Marble. So this was shot way back in 1972, which is around 50 years from now, 50 years before now. And this is how the Earth was visible from the outer space. It was blue. That means to say there's plenty of water on it, there's plenty of resources into it, and it is blue marble. Now, when we look at it, there's a question in front of you. The same blue marble, how do you think would look in 2030? Just you can describe how do this blue marble would look in 2030? Completely blue? I disagree. Somebody is telling dry. It may be less blue. Okay. Red. It might turn black. Okay. Fade blue. Mhm. It might become brown. The greenery is lost. 95% blue, less green, dry, cloudy, weak planet, dry. Okay. So whatever you're telling, these responses are suggesting that the earth is getting destroyed. It is getting polluted. It is getting overused. So this is what you all mean to tell. By 2030, the earth will take its toll and we will be running short of resources. Friends, it's very important for us to understand. Most of you in this webinar would be in the age bracket of 14 to 25 years. Just look back 10 years before you, whatever age you are. Just look 10 years behind. And then imagine what was that available 10 years back in the nature, which is not to be seen now. You'll find a lot of things coming in front of you. And old people like me, we can look back 30 years, 40 years and see what was there 40 or 4 decades back is there now or not there. Very small thing what I can recall around me is today I'm not able to see sparrows. When I was a small boy and playing around, I could see there were plenty of sparrows. But today in my neighborhood, I cannot see sparrows. Very similarly, we have to understand the resources what we have today, we need to ensure they are available for the future generations to come. So that is what we all have to think. There's a serious problem in front of us. Like the way this webinar started, Satyajit said there is no plan B. There is no planet B. Yes, there is no planet B. So we need to take care of this planet, and it gives a serious thinking for one and all present here. So why Scouts? What are Scouts doing to create a sustainable world? You need to understand this very, very important. Everybody are talking about sustainable development goal. All the government agencies are talking about sustainable development goal. And this is the month of June. Every government department is required to give their reports on sustainable development actions they have taken in their respective departments in the last 1 year. But Scouts, why Scouts? Why are we creating this sustainable world? Because the entire world believes Scouts have a sustainable education. When you look at the greatest personalities on earth, then you can see they have come through the ranks of scouting. As our Secretary General and Additional CNC was telling, that once a scout is always a scout, scouts remember those values. They bring that responsibility. That is the reason Scout, as one of the largest force, largest youth movement, is giving the massive contribution to the sustainable development goal across the globe. Across the globe today, we are 60 million plus scouts, and we are contributing towards the sustainable development goals. In India, we are almost 6 million scouts and guides, and we are doing the same. So we have a bigger share and bigger responsibility to heal the planet. So these are the sustainable development goals. What you can see, the small square boxes on the screen. We have 17 of such goals. And these goals, they talk about everything on earth. You talk about nature. We have certain goals that addresses the problem in nature. You talk about health issues. We have certain goals that talk about the health issues. You talk about clean health and sanitations. We have something like that. You talk about resources, may it be human resources, financial resources, natural resources. There are few goals that contribute towards those actions. And the biggest problem in our country, what we are finding, is poverty, hunger, and education. With the issues of sanitation, we have everything. If we have to solve these problems, we always need partnerships. And one of the goals in sustainable development is also partnerships. I'm not going to talk much on these goals, because we have well-known prominent speakers coming and discussing with you these 17 sustainable goals at large in the next 6 days. But what Scouts was SDGs? This is what something we all have to understand. When we talk about these things, what is the biggest thing we have to understand is, we had something called as Millennium Development Goals before the Sustainable Development Goals. But the Millennium Development Goals could not achieve its results and purpose, because it was a close-ended target that the UN kept. So they failed to achieve those results. Whereas the Sustainable Development Goals talks about something called as sustainable education. And when we talk about sustainable education, we are empowering the young people so that they carry on the habit of sustainable development. So friends, in front of you there is a screen, and this screen is, can you guess who is there on the screen? Anybody? Do you know this gentleman? Yes, what is his name? Lord Baden-Powell. Very good, well said. This is a picture from the first Scout experimental camp. And when we look at this photograph, and when we look at the sustainable development goals, there are few goals this picture can contribute to. Can you identify any sustainable development goals that you can relate to this picture? You can take a guess, wild guess. You can also try to do inky pinky ponky, no issues. Any goals you think they are relevant to this picture? Mm-hmm. Okay, education. Well, any more guesses? So when we talk about the relevance of scouting and community, this is what scouting has been doing for ages. And this picture is very relevant to sustainable development goals. When we look at it, one of the goals this experimental camp contributed was to quality education. Scouting brought in quality education right from the time it came into existence. Reduced inequalities, goal number 10. So this is also one of the major contribution of scouting, to reduce inequalities in all the ways. Build sustainable cities and communities. We build a lot of communities. It be because of the community development activities we have, community focused actions that scouts carry out, we are able to build sustainable cities. As you would have already heard from our speakers before me, they were talking about the impact scouting has created in the last 1.5 years with the kind of community involvement, community engagement. They have created a social impact and also a community impact. And this is a positive impact that will help us to build sustainable communities and cities. So that's why we say scouting also as a whole, this camp contributed to sustainable cities and communities. And the last one is peace, justice, and strong institution. So with this scouting spread across the country, across the region, across the continent, and across the globe, bringing in institutions together, bringing in smiles on millions of faces, and bringing in partnerships. Today, scouting itself is an institution and it caters to millions of institutions across the globe to give quality education, which is not formal. We have the education departments to give the formal education, but scouting gives the education for life. So, friends, we all have to understand scouts are connected to sustainable development right from the time we started scouting. So, moving on, what is Scouts for SDG? It is the mobilization of young people. When we say 50 million scouts is across the globe, but when we look at India, when we say in our country, we want to mobilize each one of you scouts, guides, rovers, and rangers to leverage our youth program. See, our youth program is very well built. It has all the aspects. You have proficiency badges that cater to different needs and issues. We have our own advancement system that talks about our involvement in community at various levels. When you start as a Pravesh, Prathama, Dvitiya, when you go there, our involvement and interaction in the community starts at a smaller level. When you move up to your higher advancement, then you totally get into the community. When we talk of our young people or young adults who are in the age bracket of 25, you are the young adults with your motto of service, you directly get into the actions. Our youth program has all these elements that will contribute to the sustainable development goal. Further, to keep this inspiration moving, to keep the motivation happening, we have plenty of initiatives under the Better World framework, which will help us to take the mission towards contributing to sustainable development goals with the flagship initiative of Messengers of Peace to raise awareness and to create action towards sustainable development goals. Many times I have seen people coming and asking me, Sir, can you tell me one activity that we can do to contribute to sustainable development goal? Friends, let me tell you very frankly, we don't have any specific actions that we can take towards sustainable development goal, but every action we take will go towards sustainable development goal. To give a simple example, scouting enables you to become active global citizen. See, many times we all brush the teeth, okay? And we have been hearing even from our parents, teachers, and also our unit leaders, when you brush your teeth, you can turn your tap off. And when we are told about it, we follow this for 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day. If you follow it for the entire life, then it is sustainable education. But what do we do? Many times we follow it 2 days, 3 days. After the fifth day, we continue doing the same thing. See, that is what is the difference between scouts and other people. As scouts, you will become the active global citizen when you imbibe sustainable education into you. When you put your hands up and rise up to a challenge and meet the needs of the challenge. So you'll all become the active global citizen. Secondly, as I was talking already about, sustainable development education is very important. You all need to develop the habit of sustainable education. There are things. Forget about water. You talk about a light. You're walking around, there is a light inside your home itself. Sometimes we turn it off, many a times we don't turn it off. We just let it go and we walk around it. This is what is called as applying the education. We all have to be the key in achieving the sustainable development. If that is the case, we all have to take actions. And these actions are local actions. There's some saying which says act local, think global. But here we say act local, contribute global. So, friends, education is the key, and you'll be educated on each and every goal in the coming 6 days. However, when you follow and implement or imbibe the Scout promise, the Scout law, that itself will teach you sustainable education. And that is the key for each one of you to be the ambassadors or whatever you call. I'm a global citizen today. I can see many of you calling yourself global citizen, are putting up your Facebook DPs with that ring which says I'm a global citizen. That is social media impact. But if you have to create the social impact, then you need to act. It cannot be your temporary DPs. Sustainable education cannot be temporary. It has to be permanent change. You need to bring that permanent behavioral change in you. And we believe, and UN believes, that scouts are the ones who can carry the message of sustainable education. That is the reason they are contributing towards sustainable development goals as the largest youth movement. How does this work with scouts? We scouts inspire a lot. We share our stories. And when we become global citizens, we have the opportunity for various trainings, learning opportunities, and explore and advocate plenty of issues. We are creating awareness on many things. You can see in the last 6 months what all the awareness campaigns we have created as scouts. Very recently, we were doing a campaign on menstrual hygiene that contributes to sustainable development number 3. A few days back, we were doing a campaign on plastics in water, plastic tide turners. Like that, we have various campaigns. Every campaign is directly contributing to one or the other sustainable development goals. But the key to scouts is to inspire more people, inspire our friends, inspire non-scouts to act. When we inspire them, we will be enabling them to take an action. And taking an action is not possible by one single individual. Enabling the young person is to give him the right kind of information and to give him the right kind of partnership. So we will enable each one of you to go towards this direction. When we enable the scouts to inspire, to enable, then what will they do? They will definitely develop. So, my dear young friends, when we say you all deliver, you need to develop the competencies for the local actions. When you develop competencies for the local actions, each local action is connected to one or the other SDG. The community service projects you undertake, they are connected to the SDGs. I could see some pictures of a lot of young people distributing masks. I saw the photographs of young people sanitizing their cities, their group done. I saw the photographs of people distributing food near railway station. I saw some people distributing food for the needy people on the curbstones. So these are the actions, local actions, what you take in the community. And this is also implemented as part of our youth programs. Many of our youth programs says we need to do sustainable community service, which is sustained community development project, which we have been doing from ages. Even I remember when I was a Rashtrapati Scout, I did a sustainable community development project for 36 hours. So friends, see, Scouts are already talking about sustainable development. We are putting this seed of sustainable development in a boy or a girl right from the time they are into their advancement schemes. So we are enabled to deliver the sustainable development goals. That is the reason UN has entrusted the responsibility, or they are banking on millions of scouts across the world to deliver the sustainable development goals and contribute for the well-being of planet Earth. So when we do this, the major objective of sustainable development goals and scouts for SDG is to give every scout in the country, every guide in the country, the competencies to promote sustainable development. This is the key for us by 2020. After that, we can see how things take forward. So when we say why is Scouting and SDGs, it is to inspire young people by telling the stories. As you have been telling the stories, you can tell more of such stories in these webinars, in your campfires, in your troop meetings, in your company meetings, and inspire more young people, and responsibly share it on social media, because it is not social media impact you're creating an impact in the society, you're creating a social impact in the community, and sharing it on social media for the people to get inspired. But friends, many times we forget the impact we create on the society or in the community, but we try to create an impact on social media. That does not work. So I call every young person to create an impact in the society, a social impact in the community, and share it on social media with a beautiful story. And then you become more sustainable as an individual, making communities more resilient. See, I was talking to you, the change begins from us, peace begins from me. You start sustainable things in your home, then your neighbors will run, then your relatives will learn. So you'll become a more sustainable individual. Start adopting sustainable means. Don't use single use plastic. Try to use reusable glasses, reusable mugs. Don't use straws. Carry a steel straw. These are a few sustainable actions which you can take, and be a part of the global agenda. When I say be a part of the global agenda, we all take action for the goal number 13, which is climate action. It is a global agenda, but the actions, where are we taking? We are taking these actions at our unit level, at our group level, at our community level. So you'll be part of this global agenda. At the end, Scouting ensures its community relevance, its continued support to the society. So that is why Scouting is very, very relevant even today. If Scouts don't get into the community, we are never relevant at all. Always we say, even when we talk about our principles, duty to others, duty to God, duty to self. So that's what we say, Scouting is relevant, and its relevance to society is bringing us very much closer to contributing to sustainable development goals. Finally, what we have is the strength to partner and also to improve the fundraising. We will be dealing about it in the next coming days. We will talk about you about this funding part and the partnership. When we look at it as a part of Scouts SDG mobilization, we are going to develop a lot of monitoring and evaluation tools with the initiatives of Better World Framework, and helping you to implement your youth program, which will contribute to 17 Sustainable Development Goals. As you see, Scouting as overall will trigger the wheel of youth program. And when we trigger the wheel of youth program, it triggers various partners, community members, and implement the Better World framework very, very effectively. When we implement the Better World framework, youth program, along with the partners and community members, then as a whole, we as community, we will be the partners in sustainable development goals. I will skip this video as I'm running out of time. But friends, I always request you to kindly visit the SDG hub, which we have on scout.org. You can visit sdgs.scout.org, and this will help you to understand how the Scout actions are connected to sustainable development goals. And if you have a crazy idea or a successful plan which has contributed to sustainable development goals, you can share this idea and plan out there, which millions of Scouts across the globe can also take part and participate into. We have partnered with quite a lot of people around. As the major partners for sustainable development goals is the Scouts, as we are the largest youth movement in the world. along with the big five organization. We are also having a network partnership with E4G, WWF, KaiSit, UNESCO. WAX is at the global level, but in India, WAX and WASM are working together. South Africa and Greenpeace to contribute to Scouts Go Solar. UN Environment, we have partnered with them for various programs like the Panda Badge, Plastic Tide Turners. All these programs are from the UN Environment. And finally, we have the Halvalit philanthropists whom we have partnered to help you raise some funds through the Scout donation platform. So if you have to implement any of your community projects which are connected to sustainable development goals and you have some need of funds for it, you can always come on the Scout donation platform and request for the funds where Hull Valley Philanthropies will be more than happy to support you if your project is valid. You can also refer to the very recent circular issued by National Headquarters for you all to use the Scout donation platform. So that is all what I had to give you as an input for Scouts for SDGs. Thank you very much for this time and opportunity. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat box. I can take the questions for the next 2 minutes and bring this webinar to a close. I'm having a question here which says that child marriage can be prevented. What actions can we take? Definitely, we can prevent child marriages. We will talk about this in the next 2-3 days when we talk about that specific goal. We will come back and help you for the issues on child marriage. Definitely, we can work towards that goal. Okay, otherwise, I don't see any more questions that are unique. Thank you, one and all, for this time and opportunity. Thank you.
Madhu sir, we cannot thank you enough for your contribution, support, and valuable advice, which you have always given us for the youth and for the movement. I'm sure it is a wonderful start of the webinar series with a great session imparted by you today. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Friends, we also have with us today Rojo Andrea ma'am. She is one of the WAX representative and she'll be the resource speaker for the webinar on 8th of June. Welcome you, ma'am. Next, we have with us Professor Anirudh Deshpande, and he'll be the speaker for the webinar on 10th of June. Welcome, sir. Welcome to the webinar. Moving ahead, friends, be ready with your mobile phones or computers. And later, let us make this session more interactive by quickly taking part in a quiz. Yes, it is quiz time now. But before we start the program, here are some instructions for you. So participants need to join the quiz with a username which should be a 10-digit mobile number. You have to join using a 10-digit mobile number which should be unique, and the mobile number will be used to identify you. A winner will be declared at the end of the webinar, that is on or after 13th of June, and the winner will also be recognized by the national headquarters. So in order to recognize you, you have to enter your mobile number while you join. We'll be sharing the link in YouTube and also in the Zoom platform. And also, yeah. So let's start the with the quiz. Okay. We'll give some more time for the people to join. You can go to slido.com and enter BSG for SDG, or you can click on the link that has been shared in the Zoom chat or the YouTube chat, live chat. You can also scan from your mobile using this QR code. We'll give 30 seconds more. We have good number of participants joining us today. आप सभी को अपने मोबाइल नंबर यूज करके ज्वाइन करना है। आपको आपके मोबाइल नंबर की तरह आपका मोबाइल नंबर ही आपका पहचान है, और वेबिनार के आखिरी दिन यानी कि 13 तारीख को या 13 तारीख के बाद एक विनर घोषित किया जाएगा और नेशनल हेडक्वार्टर्स उनको रिकॉग्नाइज करेगा। Okay, let's start with the quiz. The first question is, what does SDG stand for? SDG को expand करना है, आप लोगों को इसको विस्तार करना है। इन चारों में से कौन सा सही है? Okay. Let's see the correct answer. So the correct answer is B, Sustainable Development Goals. Let's move on to the next question. What is SDG number 5? SDG number 5 कौन सा है? SDG नंबर 5 कौन सा है? सिर्फ 5 सेकंड है हमारे पास। ओके, तो मैक्सिमम लोगों ने जवाब दिया जेंडर इक्वलिटी। लेट्स सी व्हाट्स द करेक्ट आंसर। यस, जेंडर इक्वलिटी इट इज। मूविंग टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन। कैन यू आइडेंटिफाई द एसडीजी नंबर? ये कौन सा एसडीजी नंबर का चित्र है? आपके पास सिर्फ 10 सेकंड है। तो मैक्सिमम लोगों ने कहा ये एसडीजी नंबर 2 है, दैट इज नो हंगर। देखते हैं कि ये सही है या गलत। यस, इट इज एसडीजी नंबर 2, जीरो हंगर। People struggle for basic human needs like adequate. मनुष्य किन जरूरतों के लिए संघर्ष करता है? मनुष्य किन जरूरतों के लिए संघर्ष करता है? इन चारों में से आपको बताना है। तो मैक्सिमम लोगों ने कहा फूड एंड क्लीन वाटर। देखते हैं सही जवाब क्या है। सही जवाब, मैक्सिमम लोगों ने कहा है कि फूड एंड शेल्टर, पर सही जवाब है फूड एंड क्लीन वाटर। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन। Eliminating dash is about giving all people everywhere an equal chance, all living fulfilled lives. इनमें से किसको हटाने से लोगों को एक इक्वल अपॉर्चुनिटी दिया जाएगा ताकि वो एक शांतिमय जीवन जी सके? ओके, लोगों ने कहा कि इनइक्वलिटीज। देखते हैं सही जवाब क्या है। It's poverty. Eliminating poverty is about giving all people everywhere an equal chance at living fulfilled lives. Let's move on to the next question. Oceans and seas cover what % of our planet? महासागर और समुद्र हमारे पृथ्वी को कितना प्रतिशत कवर करता है? सिर्फ 10 मिनट है आपके पास और मैक्सिमम लोगों ने कहा कि 70%। देखते हैं जवाब क्या है। जी हाँ, ये 70% है। So oceans and seas cover 70% of our planet. क्या ये SDG नंबर 7 है, अफोर्डेबल एंड क्लीन एनर्जी? आपको ट्रू और फॉल्स में बताना है। क्या ये SDG नंबर 7 है, अफोर्डेबल या एंड क्लीन एनर्जी? ये सही है, ये गलत है, आपको ट्रू और फॉल्स में बताना है। ओके, 80% लोगों ने कहा ट्रू। देखते हैं, हाँ ये बिल्कुल सही जवाब। Who said the following line? We do not have plan B because there is no planet B. आपको अगर याद होगा, ये मैंने हमारे वेबिनार के स्टार्टिंग में कहा था। किसने ये लाइन कहा है? तो आपको आंसर देना है। मैक्सिमम 36% ने कहा कि बैन की मून। लेट्स सी। यस, इट इज द करेक्ट आंसर। यहाँ पे आपको फिल इन द ब्लैंक्स कंप्लीट करना है। All dash are born equal no matter their gender. It is our duty to make sure that women and men have equal opportunities and the rights in every part. When dash are empowered, the entire society benefits. Okay, मैक्सिमम लोगों ने कहा कि ह्यूमंस एंड वीमेन। देखते हैं कि सही है गलत है। बिल्कुल ये सही है। मूविंग अहेड, कैन यू नेम SDG नंबर 15? SDG नंबर 15 इनमें से कौन सा है? आपके पास 10 सेकंड है। All right. So SDG number 15, 45% लोगों ने कहा कि लाइफ ऑन लैंड। देखते हैं कि ये सही है या गलत है। Life on land is correct. And whoever has joined with the mobile number 9176820038 is the winner today. So we'll note down and we'll contact him or her. Thank you very much for joining the quiz today. Over to Ayantika.
Thank you so much, Satyajit, for this wonderful quiz. I just loved it. So, dear audience, did you all love this quiz? If yes, then drop a text in the chat box. Yes, I can see all these exciting comments coming up. And congratulations to the winner of today. So, we will be having this exciting quiz for all the rest of the 6 days, and we will be finally getting our winner of this exciting quiz competition of SDG series. Well, thank you, Satyajit, once again for conducting it. Moving on, now I welcome a very passionate leader who is a tremendous inspiration to all the Girl Guides and Rangers in this esteemed organization, and herself being an eminent person in the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts. With heartfelt gratitude, I welcome the Honorable Joint Director Guides of the Bharat Scouts and Guides India, Mrs. Darshana Pavaskar, ma'am, for the word of thanks. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Ayantika. And thank you, everyone. It was a wonderful, wonderful webinar today. I hope, Anil, it was for 1 hour, but we have extended for a longer time. Tomorrow's session is going to be along with WAGs, as Bharat Scouts and Guides is a SAGNO, Scout and Guide organization. So today we heard Madhu sir speaking about what are the WASM, World Organization of Scout Movement, what are their aspects on SDG. Tomorrow we would be seeing what does WAGs, World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts, have to speak about SDGs, and what are their roles in playing to achieve this SDGs. So we would be having Rojo is there with us today, and she would be presenting her aspects tomorrow on behalf of WAGs, along with Gemma, who is one more speaker from WAGs. That's what we have for tomorrow, and not just tomorrow, also for the next 4-5 days, children. It is going to be a wonderful time where you will learn new things and how you can make that little change in your communities, that little change to this blue marble, which Madhu sir showed us. Namaste, and this is Darshana Pavaskar. As Ayantika just said, this is Darshana Pavaskar, Joint Director Guides, and I'm very honored to give my vote of thanks on this esteemed day, and I extend our gratitude to Honorable Education Minister, Dr. Ranoj Pegu. Thank you, sir. Your presence and your motivational words have boosted the morals of our participants and our organizers threefold. Thank you, sir, for making yourself available not only for your speech, but you have been with us for this 1.5 hour. Thank you, sir. When you give your time to the children, it really makes a lot of difference. The children are very happy to hear you. And I would see one day one of our children, one of our scouts or one of our guides would be somewhere sitting along with you in the ministry. That is what I would see my future for my children. I also give my sincere thanks to PGR Sindhya sir, former Home Minister, Government of Karnataka, State Chief Commissioner, Karnataka, and Secretary General, President in Council. Also, our Honorable K.K. Khandelwal sir, IAS retired, Chief National Commissioner, who gives us a very free hand to do the activities that we feel are the need of for the children and what children want to learn. Thank you, sir, for giving us that free hand. Sri Chandrajit Shakya sir, Principal Chief Personal Officer, NF Railway, and State Chief Commissioner, BSG NF Railway, and National Advisor, Railways Affairs. Shakya sir, your motivational words really help us a lot, and NF Railway Scouts and Guides have been playing a very active role during this pandemic and also during this SDG. Especially, they're working a lot on zero hunger. Thank you for leading the team of NF Railway Scouts and Guides. And our very much motivational M.A. Khalid sir, Additional Chief National Commissioner, Bharat Scouts and Guides, and State Commissioner, Scouts, Karnataka. Sir, your words always inspire us, and today's the key to take back for our children is yes, we need to work on more of our service hours. We do a lot of service being Indians, but it is not been enrolled, it is not been logged in. So children, as sir said, we really have to go on the scout.org website and make our presence felt there. Go and log your hours of service that you have done. Thank you, sir. We also have AK Absar Hazarika, ACS retired, State Chief Commissioner, Assam. Thank you, sir, for sparing your valuable time and sharing your commitment to grow the movement in India. We also have with us Ms. Roja, as we just said. She's our advocacy coordinator for Girl Powered Nutrition and UN Challenge Badge. We also have with us Amelia Swear ma'am from Meghalaya, our International Commissioner Guides. Manish Mehta sir, National Commissioner for Coordination. Jitesh sir, he's our Deputy National Commissioner of Rovers, who has recently joined us, and he's been also very motivational for leading the children in IT sector. Professor Aniruddha Deshpande. Thank you, sir, for your presence. A big thank you to our speaker of the day, Madhusudan sir, Deputy International Commissioner Scouts, and also an WASM consultant. Thank you would be a very small word for our director, Rajkumar Kaushik ji, for giving us a free hand and also listening to our last minute changes which happen at behind the scenes. All the office bearers present on this forum and being with us for 1.5 hours. I would fail my duties if I don't mention the intensity of hard work and efforts put in by my IT team, my social media team, and the team which is working behind the scenes. My master of ceremony, Ayantika and Satyaji. Last but not the least, a heartfelt thank you to all my dear participants, around 500 odd number on Zoom, as well as my YouTube channel, where you children make us do a lot of new, creative, innovative ideas. Thank you. But we should not stop here. As Madhu sir very well said, it doesn't make much of a difference if you just change your profile picture on FB by saying I'm a global citizen. It is your actions that count. So hopefully to see you next for the next 1 week with us, and further on seeing your action being counted. So count for your little actions and log in your service hours and take action. Keep staying safe and healthy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for inspiring us with your vote of thanks. And we are really inspired by whatever you have said. Thank you so much on behalf of the entire Bharat Sundays. So, dear audience, thank you for joining us today. I would also like to thank the honorable guests, BSG leaders, for taking out your precious time and joining with us today. I Am a Global Citizen webinar will be streaming live till 13th of June from 4 p.m. As we have come to the end of our today's program, let us say our goodbye. Till then, stay home, stay safe, take care. और फिर मिलते हैं कल 4 बजे. Thank you everyone.